This is the last knot. My dad told me to say this.
England were cut a lot in the first session today. Remember, they chose to bowl first. They saw a green deck and then decided that with their 3 new ball specialist bowlers, they would give them a great chance. Of course, the deck wasn't that green. I suppose we found that out more later on rather than at the time. And instead of bowling well, they bowled really poorly. Mostly. CricViz said they were 52 centimetres shorter than what they had delivered at Lord's. And remember, they were really good at Lord's. It's never fair to say a team should do the exact same thing every time that they bowl. These are different surfaces, you have to adapt. But it was hard to watch them early on and really believe that they were doing something right. There were 3 major signs it was going to shit. Ben Stokes bowling in the first 20 overs when 2 days ago he said he wasn't going to use himself much at all. Jack Leach bowling before lunch, and not just like the last over before the break, as is English tradition, but actually brought on because everyone else was struggling a little bit. And even despite the fact that he's the second worst spinner in the first innings over the last few years. But the third one is what I noticed the most. They kept getting cut 6 times, which may not seem like a lot, but is actually a huge amount in Test match cricket. It was New Zealand's largest scoring shot of that first session. That's not normal. The flick to the leg side is usually the main scoring option in tests, and then you have the cover drive and the pull. They're all miles ahead of the cut, which is usually back in 4th place. To have it as the most productive shot in a session, where you sent the opposition in, is about the worst thing you can do. There are entire batters who were known just for playing that one shot. Robin Smith was known as a cutter. It was outside his mullet, nickname, and the way that Shane Warne kept getting him out, what we all knew him for. Here is a collection of his cuts. You can see how he almost seems to hold his bat for the shot even before the bowler has come in. And when there is width and length, he flings himself at it like he's chopping the head off some invading mob. And you can hear the sound as well. It's more like a gunshot than a cricket shot. In the 80s and 90s, as bowlers got taller and faster and started swinging the ball less, you could have an incredible career based around just having a brutal cut shot. Robin Smith was just one. You could throw in Gordon Greenidge, David Boone, Inzamam Al-Haq, Brian Lara, Jeff Marsh. There were lots of guys who were known for cutting the ball. That was part of their identity as players. And there were many reasons for that. One was that fast bowlers weren't as accurate back then, especially the really quick bowlers. White ball cricket has probably changed that part because you can't really be fast anymore if you can't also be accurate. So you have to be able to hit a good line. And think about this, it really does take a bowler getting it very wrong to bowl a delivery short and wide. It's a double error. And it just doesn't happen as much as bowlers are far better at hitting a spot when they have to. Other things are involved here too. Bowlers used to deliver from close to the stumps. Now they come in from a bit of an angle. This is a combination of bowlers going from outswing dependent to seamers. DRS plays a big part of this, as does the wobble. But that constant angle in means that the cut shot is genuinely a bit more risky than it used to be. In fact, most cut shots now are probably manufactured by players who just have them as their best shot and they really want to make a ball into a cut shot. And there really aren't any great modern cutters. We're probably as close as we had, and I'm not sure any of them were really, and Pujara is the only one of them actually still left in the game. And as good as any of those were, I'm not sure any were identified with the shot the way that Gordon Greenidge and co were. There are just a host of players now who are really more guiders of the ball, who with some width will angle the ball down there. This is probably more like the late cut than a powerful stroke of the one of the last era. Think about players like Root, Williamson, Warner. They're all guiders. Craig Brathwaite, you could probably throw in there as well. And there are other players like Johnny Bairstow, Bubba Azam, and Quentin de Kock, who maybe also could be powerful cutters. In fact, lots of players could. But those kinds of rank balls outside off stump just don't exist as much anymore. And so people just aren't known for that shot. Of the younger players, I assume Travis Head would count as the one who's maybe most identified with the cut at this stage. And when you watch him, he's almost always cutting from balls very close to his body and sometimes very full ball. It's just his best shot, so he tries to make it happen. But the normal cut shot from a poor ball has kind of just gone out of the game. It's not that the shot has gone out of style, it's just that bowlers have morphed into different creatures and there are less options to do them. We don't have shot data for the history of the game, but from 2015 until 2019, it was still played 3.5% of the time. That has dropped to under 3% in the last 3 years. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually quite a big drop. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it started in 2019 when the wobble ball took hold and most bowlers came wider on the crease. So it actually takes a lot of effort to bowl this many in a session. And then worse still, to do it when you send the opposition in to bat. In the future, I really believe that England should cut this out.